Hello and welcome to today's wild Hearthstone deck tech and gameplay video on a brand new list to the channel in what is really Discovery Hunter. Or to Discover Hunter, I should say. And this little card, Rangari Scout, was the initial card that made me like perk up when thinking that, oh, I think, okay, maybe there's like enough Discover cards floating around in Hunter to make like a Discover deck. And there are, if we're being entirely honest, a lot of them do come from newer sets. Not all of them, though. Like the new Exarch I'm going to say Nyella? I've never heard this character's name said, so we're going to say that. But also older cards like Old School Tracking and even a couple Grime Street Informants. All cards that are cards that discover in one way or another. Granted, what they discover varies from card to card. And since that is, pardon the lawnmower, that is what the deck wants to do, we kind of have to take discover effects wherever we can get them. The other half of the list that still does what, hi, buddy, the other half of the list that also kind of does discovery is some of the dark gift cards. Now, granted, there's only 3 that like really work. You could arguably do this whatever treacherous tormentor guy, but these 3 are all cards that basically generate things with dark gifts. But really what made me want to play them is the discover ability. And whatever dark gifts that we can give or get are just gravy on top. Beyond all of our discover cards, you do have some cards that kind of care about discovering, like Alien Encounters and Parallax Cannon. And beyond that, we have just good glue cards that I always try to include in some list. Things like Bursting Shot, even Harpoon Gun, Hollow Hound. Cards that don't explicitly super care about discovery, but you need some glue to hold ideas like this together. And one little cute bit of glue that also cares about discovering is the Rexar's Gift. These are all, fine things you are comfortable having access to for a one-man attacks, but because they discover, there's extra perks to what our deck wants to do. And that is the basics of the list. Don't forget to like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like my grab bag of content, and you want to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions like I don't have X, what about Y, or other generally nice and or constructive comments, go ahead and leave them down below, and I'll do what I can to respond to what I see. This is another one of those lists that you don't have to be married to the exact list card for card. You're more going for a vibe of a Discover Hunter, and however you build yours will, of course, vary depending on what you like and what your collection can do for you. Now we go on to game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Discover Hunter. This is a perfectly fine... Well, the gift's not that useful, and neither is the Bursting Shot, but we have Discover cards in hand. We have a Curve, which is pretty nice. Okay, that... I'm going to say, based on the 2 aquatic forms, that this is some sort of combo list in Druid. A lot of the combo-y Druids that I run into, or a lot of the due process, naturalize... Maybe not. I was going to say make you mill out your list, but I was wrong. And also, ow, this particularly sucks because that Bursting Shot would have been fantastic now. Wow, that stinks. Okay, I'm wrong. It's clearly some sort of aggressive thing. Maybe like a Treant Hunter. I'm gonna assume it's something cool like a Treant Hunter. I will be honest, I had not run into a single Treant Hunter for as long as I can remember, to be generous. I think we just coin and use a harpoon gun. If they are a treantless, we just gotta start getting rid of the stuff on their board. Gladly take you back. I'm sorry, Bursting Shot. I should never have thrown you away. I was wrong. Please come back to me. Let's see. 3. Okay, so it is Tree and Druid. I knew there was a card draw. I was like wondering about the name. Also could have been the Arbologist, whatever the hell it's called. This should get rid of their whole board. Happily take that. We do have enough tracking in the deck, both in cards and in the Exarch female Draenei, that gives our hero power tracking. So you can kind of afford to be somewhat aggressive when you're looking for, or be aggressive with your discovers in hopes of looking for and finding good cards. Scout's pretty good. They don't have any treants on the board. If they have the whatever the legendary big treant is, that, like, gives the rest of your treants taunt, that one can suck. I think it's Mulch Munchers would suck, because this deck can struggle sometimes with, like, bigger boards. Or bigger creatures, I should say, not necessarily bigger boards. Anywho, play a Scout. I think... you know, we'll do the Herald. Why not? Show off the Dark Gift parts of the deck. See, we're going to get 2 of them. Don't think we have any rush things. We didn't play an Elemental, so that... Am I going to be, like, the biggest... You know what? Yeah, why not? Angry Chicken. On average, also the other one gets put into our hands, so we don't even have to worry about the downside. We'll trade here. What I was going to say is that not only is this like a hilarious bit, we'll do another Scout, sure. Not only is this a hilarious bit, but a sufficiently large chicken can actually kind of fight for board control against at least some of the actual treants themselves. The treant payoff bigger creatures that we talked about are a little more difficult. You're also running it. Although, really, Xavius is just like a sort of like a tutor effect. It's kind of like, actually, well, it's kind of like a tracking. Kind of. In the meantime, anywho, I guess we'll play the cannon, and we will play the angry chicken. It's one of those, if I pick the chicken, I gotta use the chicken. So in the meantime, fight for a board. We'll play the other Scout. Maybe they'll be more scared of the 2 Scouts and whatever card advantage that's going to generate me, in theory. They might actually leave the chicken alive. Which I think the chicken should be on top now. Because I did dredge one when the other chicken was on top. So we should draw that this turn. Right? Yeah. Angie Chicky. Think, yeah, Hollow Hound is fine. We'll trade into here. I'll actually gladly use my face, since we have some lifesteal. Just start chipping away at their board. Maybe they're going to be scared of a big, scary, angry chicken, and they might throw their board into that. Wait, are we threatening 10, 12, 15? No, there's. I don't think there's any amount of. Well, hang on. What's the 0 mana? Oh, actual dream. Okay. Okay, we certainly don't threaten lethal now, so no point in even continuing that concern. Ow. That's gonna start of its turn, right? Hang on, what does that card actually do? The start of your next turn, so I don't need to bother to... Or I don't have to bother wasting resources with that. In the meantime, chicken, chicken. Do a Stitch Tracker, because that might as well. I actually think the Hollow Hound is going to be pretty useful here. Especially getting, you know, several of them. And we just go face with the rest, honestly. Oh, Bright, when he bounces it. I mean, that it was better to play the chicken just to get out of her hands. I, for whatever reason, thought that it was like an historic with alchemy cards where the buff became part of the card, but whenever it got bounced into my hand, it lost all of those features. Okay, homeboy, how we calm down a smidge. So my point being is that when it was bounced, it just became a normal 1/1 chicken. Okay, we'll take that. And honestly, the deck's actually like pretty good. I will be honest, as you can see, even though I've basically in testing this got me to like gold 5. I don't. How do I word this? What is your problem, Mr. Wiggles? The deck is good and it can get you to average ranks. I don't know how much harder or higher you could really climb with it. I think you could if you really buckled down and tried. But it's like a good average list that I imagine will only get better since Discover is like a pretty evergreen mechanic in Hearthstone. But anywho, we'll take wins where we can get them. Now we go on to game number 2. And game number 2 with our Discover Hunter. Honestly, pretty good. I'm going to keep the Hollow Hound in case it's some weird, like, aggressive list that it's not common, but, like, some piratey warriors are actually, like, an existent threat in the format. They're not, like, crazy common, but we already have a curve. Might as well keep the Hollow Hound in our hand in case we need it. And if we don't, what are you going to do? A beautiful curve, though. Scout on 1 and do a Creature of Madness on 2. Hopefully find something particularly good. I am, just for reference, recording this game immediately after the first one that you saw. And if you would have heard the dog getting all growly, he had to go outside. So if you hear some dog barks, I might have to cut away for a second. But you won't functionally see that. Shield block tells me nothing. So I can assume it's not a quest, though, because if you had a quest on turn... You start with a quest on turn 1, so you would play that. In the meantime, like we talked about, Creature of Madness, maybe find some good... I acknowledge that this is probably better, but I have to be honest, these Zephyr-style cards and all those Reno-adjacent cards, I don't argue that they're good, they're boring. So I'm going to go Dreadscale. Again, I acknowledge it's not a good play. Don't do that if you care about the win. I don't super care about the win. I've reached gold. I've reached the middle. I'm happy. Oh, what? Okay, so like Menagerie Hunter, or Hunter, Menagerie Warrior. Guess we'll trade in the Creature of Madness. And since we have a Dreadscale, might as well get that damage taken away. I don't want to play the other Dreadscale, because unfortunately, they hurt each other. I would love for this card to get like an errata saying it, like, besides, you know, it would hit everything else but Dreadscales. Dog. We have returned. Dog did have to go out. We might as well just harpoon gun and start going face. We don't want to really develop a board with a Dreadscale on our board. Sure, Alien Encounters. I have a lot of cards in hand. I'm actually going to coin out. Well, you know what? No, we will play the Grimes Uniform. I know I just made that whole point about not developing our board. But we'll be fine. Yeah, Militia Commander. Okay, I didn't actually pick what I wanted to because I was in the tank for too long. That's unfortunate. Although, I did want the militia commander, but cool. It's another one of those cards that like you couldn't have planned for. Always fun. That's really odd, but I'm gonna play a detailed notes, discover some stuff. That's hilarious. Sounds so silly, but I think the Dark Moon Rabbit's actually kind of good here. Now, the rest of my point. We're going to do an alien encounters. We're just going to ignore Sylvanas. Just going to go face. It's going to take a long time for them to, like, chip through our board anyway. Yeah, Creature of Madness. Why not? This is one of those... The perks about... Oh, well... I was gonna say. The perks about the Dark Gift cards is that it's, like, easier than you would think... Oh boy, you managed to get that one, too. It's easier than you think to, like, Dark Gift into a somewhat aggressive threat. Which is very nice. Okay. Star Strongbow, going face. Yeah, just keep on applying pressure. There are clearly some very control-y thing, which is fine. But I'd be very surprised if they don't have, like, answers. I mean, that is a card. Do I just kill you? I believe I just killed him. Hang on, wait a second. 6, 10... Hang on, let me do this math. Go face with everything, because math is for blockers. 4 damage. So we could do... Yeah, we got it. My brain. I was overthinking this. I'm trying to get better. We'll take this win. I'm trying to get better about, even if I'm recording, to take, like, 5 seconds. Even if it's the dreaded quiet space in a video. To, like, see if I actually have lethal. Because there are plenty of times where my brain's so occupied with, like, trying to, like, fill the void and, like, make a somewhat interesting video that I'll, like, miss, you know, lethal and lose games I don't need to lose. So, I'm going to try in the future, again, to, like, be better at that in either game that I play. But anywho, that was Discovery Hunter. It's honestly pretty good. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire. It's not some, like... Not to be all old man, you know, yelling at clouds, but it doesn't have some combo kill, so, like, I don't know if it's gonna be the greatest when you get to, like, the top 10% of the ladder in the world or whatever. But if you're like me, and you like fun decks that are kind of interesting, and you like to brew, and you also like to get some wins with your fun brews, this is a pretty good one. That, again, I think I will actually come back to if we get, like, sufficient... new Discover cards, or Discover payoffs. And I think it's a pretty good list if you want to pile it at home too. With all that out of the way, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions or comments that are nice and, you know, constructive, I'll do what I can to respond to what I see. Thank you all so much for watching, and try to stay cool out there, because, my God, it's hot as hell. Bye-bye.